In a quiet village far from the bustling towns lived a young widow named Nkoli. She was known for her beauty and her juicy oranges, which she sold around the village. Her husband had died recently, and according to the village customs, she was to mourn him for 1 full year. During this period, she was forbidden from lying with another man. Any violation of this tradition was said to awaken the wrath of her late husband's spirit, who would haunt and even kill her. Nkoli had barely spent a year in marriage before death stole her husband. Some months after his burial, whispers began to circulate, accusations that Nkoli might have had a hand in his death. People avoided her, looked at her with suspicion, and treated her coldly. One evening, as she went about selling her oranges, a group of young men stopped her, offering to buy her entire tray. Grateful, she agreed, and they asked her to drop the oranges in one of their huts. When she stepped inside, they locked the door and violently took turns defiling her. She later regained consciousness near the village outskirts, bruised and broken. The entire village had gathered around her, but rather than offering help, they sneered, convinced her suffering was punishment from her dead husband's spirit for breaking the mourning rule. No one offered aid, no one, except a young girl who came forward, held Nkoli's hand, and helped her home. Nkoli never forgot the girl's kindness. The next day, she summoned all her strength and went to the village chief to report the crime. But to her horror, she discovered the boys who violated her were the chief's sons. When she explained what had happened, they flipped the story, accusing Nkoli of seducing them. The chief sided with his sons. News spread quickly, and people began calling Nkoli all sorts of shameful names. Even when she cried and begged them to believe her, no one listened. Alone and dishonored, she returned to her hut in tears. Weeks later, Nkoli discovered she was pregnant. Terrified and desperate, she tried once more to speak with the chief, but he refused to see her. So Nkoli went to the village square and cried out for justice, retelling her story before all. But the villagers only laughed, mocked her pain, and called her insane. Only one person approached her, the same young girl who once helped her. She wrapped her arms around Nkoli and said, "I believe you." That night, overwhelmed by sorrow, betrayal, and isolation, Nkoli made a tragic decision. Before taking her own life, she pronounced a curse: "This village shall never again hear the cry of a newborn child." The following morning, her lifeless body was found. The villagers chalked her death up to punishment from her dead husband's ghost and moved on. Years passed. Children in the village grew older, but no new births came. Wombs remained closed. Marriages went fruitless. The joy of childbirth vanished. Panic gripped the people. The chief consulted the oracle, and the priest confirmed Nkoli had cursed the village. He continued to ask the gods how the curse could be broken, but silence was their only reply. Desperation set in. The villagers tried marrying outsiders, but even those unions remained barren. Eventually, even neighboring villages stopped wedding their people, fearing contamination from the curse. A full decade passed without a single birth. Then, one day, word spread that a woman named Ifechi was pregnant. The entire village was shocked. She was the first in 10 years. She had married a man from a neighboring village and soon after conceived. People watched her closely. Was she a sign of hope or doom? But the pregnancy went smoothly, and in time, she gave birth to a healthy baby girl. For the first time in a decade, the sound of a crying infant echoed through the village. Hope returned briefly. One woman, Obianjali, who had long struggled with infertility, suggested that Ifechi help the other women conceive. Perhaps she held the key to lifting the curse. Others agreed, and they went to plead with her. But their proposal shocked Ifechi. They wanted her to sleep with their husbands, believing that doing so would grant them fertility. Horrified, Ifechi refused and sent them away. But desperation breeds resentment. Soon, rumors swirled, painting Ifechi as the root of the village's troubles. Whispers turned to side-eyes. Glares became isolation. Then one night, Ifechi's baby girl fell dangerously ill. Her belly swelled, and her breathing weakened. In a panic, Ifechi ran to the healer, but the woman coldly turned her away, saying that since Ifechi refused to share her gift, she had no right to ask for healing. Ifechi's cries went unanswered. Her baby's life hung in the balance. Ifechi's cries went unanswered. Her baby's life hung in the balance. Her husband ran to the village chief, begging for help, but the chief, still bitter and proud, ignored him. The couple decided to leave the village for the husband's homeland to seek help. But on their way out, a group of women stopped them. They confessed everything. The villagers had planned to harm Ifechi's baby in a twisted attempt to lift the curse. But these women couldn't go through with it. Instead, they secretly visited a powerful woman at the edge of the forest. She gave them a sacred remedy. They handed it to Ifechi, who quickly gave it to her daughter. Miraculously, the child recovered within hours. Ifechi wept in gratitude, hugging the woman who saved her daughter's life. The very next week, something even more shocking happened. Those same women became pregnant. Word spread like wildfire. The villagers were stunned. How could this be? Then, the truth came to light. Before Nkoli took her own life, she had blessed one person: the young girl who had shown her kindness when no one else did. That girl was Ifechi. Nkoli had said, "Your womb shall never be empty, and anyone who shows love to you and your children shall be free from the curse." So it was. The women who saved Ifechi's daughter were released from the curse. Others, including the chief's family, remained barren forever. When the rest of the village heard this, they rushed to show Ifechi affection, but it was too late. Their hearts were already stained with envy and hate. Their kindness was fake, and the curse remained. Only those who showed genuine compassion were free.